carry-out bad guys are not novice criminals. They had records in Cuba before Castro sent them here last year.
Castro put a good one over on us, despite what the federal judge up in Atlanta says. And incidentally, I think it's important to remember that there are people in the world who are wicked and who are evil.
This cannot be continuing to happen over and over again because we forget our history.
Jam-packed with Cuban refugees. It is part of what is believed to be...
And nowadays, it's happening again.
San Diego was full.
Legal immigration is good. Illegal immigration is bad. That's what's happening now. And when that happened, we at least knew where they came from. The southwest border, wide open, cartels exploiting this, victimizing children, women. In 1983, they had over 600 violent crime deaths. Miami was listed as a murder capital of the world. A lot of that was associated with drugs. Blame the pushers. Blame the cartel. Blame the ones who are bringing it in. And then blame our own media for not going after this and not being outraged. When's the last time you saw a commercial on fentanyl? Heroin, marijuana, cocaine. That's what we were dealing with. Now you got people that are changing the analogs to things. Designer drugs, fentanyl.
Child tragedy in Overtown. A 10-year-old boy is being called the youngest victim of Florida's opioid crisis.
You don't think this is not a war? You have foreign countries pumping this toxic chemical into our country. The battlefield is here.
Right turn.
About 4 minutes out.
4 minutes.
In the beginning, we ended up getting tips coming in from different sources of information. Those sources of information led to other tips, and then eventually identifying what we believe to be the head of the organization as a known individual by the name of. We identified the source of supply was shipping narcotics to our main target here in Pensacola, Florida.
Occupants, this is the state police. We have a search warrant for the property. Come to the door with your hands visible. Come to the front door with your hands visible. Occupants, this is the state police. We have a search warrant for the property.
Got a camera on the 1-4 corner. All right, move up to that 1-4 corner.
Back away from the door. We're going to breach the door. Back away.
In those packages that we seized, there was approximately 20 to 30 pounds of meth at a time, kilogram quantities of fentanyl, and then sometimes we would end up intercepting also liquid fentanyl and a drug that we weren't exactly familiar with, xylazine, which is a horse tranquilizer for veterinary purpose use only. Any type of drug that you can think of, we found located at these search warrants, along with firearms. Some of these firearms were stolen or used in crimes. Operation Nottingham was a long-term investigation. It was anywhere from 6 to 8 months long. Through multiple sources of information, we identified an individual by the name of Amanda, who had a vast network of fentanyl distributors here within our local area here in Escambia County, Florida.
Is that the stuff over there?
It's the pills, the big bag.
Yeah, the big bag of pills over there? Okay.
So several months ago, the Major Drug Squad initiated a major drug investigation involving fentanyl and methamphetamine trafficking here in the Panhandle, circulating from Pensacola all the way to the west coast of the United States, California, Portland area, through confidential sources and a variety of means, initiated a case that led to the detection of over 20 individuals involved in drug trafficking operations here in Pensacola and beyond. So we just finished up evidence collection on this investigation. We've got 14.5 pounds of fentanyl, 2.5 pounds of cocaine, over 35 pounds of marijuana, 2.5 pounds of spice, 23.5 pounds of MDMA, 5 pounds of ketamine, 58 pounds of methamphetamine, and almost a half pound of pills that we've yet to identify. We've got to send off to the lab.
It's important to recognize that today we are seeing more people killed because of opioid overdose than traffic accidents. Now you think about that.
The state of Florida has had multitude of different waves of the war on drugs, whether it be from the marijuana grows, whether it be from the cocaine cowboy days, psychotic drugs, rave drugs, anything that can come out, we've been affected by it.
Drug enforcement and drug violations have always been a focus of law enforcement because it drives everything. It drives property crimes, violent crimes, money crimes. The epidemic and the surge in fatalities from fentanyl is driving it more, but you have a greater range of people dying from fentanyl overdoses than we ever expected.
A deadly fentanyl crisis plaguing our nation.
We have been faced with the frightening challenge of fentanyl.
A mother from North Florida now facing manslaughter charges after police say she put fentanyl in her 9-month-old son's bottle.
And we're losing this battle, so we've got to do something about it. We got to do it differently. We got to do it better.
So let's talk about this. We said this right here, this vial, with just that little bit, will kill over 60 people. Back in the day, that wouldn't even be a hit off of cocaine for somebody. 60 people.
I think it's scaring a lot of people. If you look at the deaths that are fentanyl related, very seldom is it just fentanyl. It's going to be poly, it's going to be meth with fentanyl. The meth didn't kill you, it's the fentanyl that killed you. If you lace it with something that they're not used to, it will kill you. And that's what we're seeing now, is the poly drugs.
One of the most dangerous drugs that is being recreationally used throughout our state. This drug is highly toxic.
Now look, sometimes it's not in that form. Sometimes it's in a pill form. Now this is particularly frightening. This is designed to look like an M30, an oxycodone pill. So we have folks buying this pill that's stamped M30 that looks like oxycodone. It's not oxycodone. It's got binders in it and fentanyl. So they're taking the oxycodone rate and they're getting an overdose of fentanyl.
Fentanyl has definitely taken the front line. It is mixed with everything nowadays. We've seen it from being mixed with meth to being mixed with in pills, being pressed, even having marijuana that's laced.
A small packet of heroin you could adulterate or cut up to 10 times so that the heroin addict could still get enough of a high, but not so much that it would kill them. Heroin addicts and opiate addicts and dealers would be the right mix of adulterants and heroin to get somebody high but not dead.
Officers, law enforcement officers here in the great state of Florida, what we call the Free State. But I tell everybody, the Free State of Florida does not mean you get to do whatever the heck you want. You don't have the right to do wrong here in Florida. You got the right to live your life, raise your family, visit and enjoy our wonderful environment and beaches. But if you get into trouble, we will hold you accountable down. Drug overdose crisis is something that's been raging for a long time, and I think it always will be, and that's why your continued work is so important. This is the new era of warfare. James Uthmeyer, Florida Attorney General. It's been a humbling experience, an honor to serve Floridians in this capacity. Very fulfilling, undoubtedly the best job I will probably ever have. We've seen strong connections between the fentanyl distribution here in the state of Florida and the southern border. As we take down some of these networks, some of these drug rings, we almost always find connections to cartels and the southern border.
Muling operation coming across the southwest border. We know it. With the way the southwest border was open and porous, the federal government was allowing people to come in many different ways. So they just bring it across.
This is a new age of warfare. It's not planes in the sky. It's not ships coming near our shores. It is drugs coming over the southern border. It is drugs that are being fed to Mexican drug cartels. It is drugs finding their way into every inch of our country, attacking our youth, in many cases, killing our youth. This is the new warfare that we have to fight.
They are backed up all day and far into the night. Hundreds, thousands of single men. Look at their shoes, a Marine mutters as the long lines shuffle forward. They all have the same shoes, Cuban prison issues.
Is doing a thing about it. We have been invaded by what the science fiction does.
The refugees pour out of the gaily striped tents at the Trumbull Point Naval Air Station. This group will go to Camp McCoy, Wisconsin.
Obviously, the southern border's been in the headlines a great deal. And the thing that when I went with Mr. Biggs and he took us down to the border, one of the things that I found was fascinating. Some of those people didn't have the money to pay the cartel, but they put on carpet shoes so they wouldn't have footprints, and they would backpack heroin, cocaine, and fentanyl across that border as a way to pay their passage to the cartel.
Now, I had the privilege and the honor to fly out and look and be at the border. I actually had the opportunity to have a set of binoculars and looking out in the distance and seeing a fentanyl factory in Mexico. We actually saw the place. And that shows you how close they are to the border and how brazen they are just to cross it over at any time.
Because fentanyl is made in a number of factories, there's no good quality assurance. So the potency of this pack of fentanyl and the potency of this pack of fentanyl is not going to be the same.
Because we know that they have been, for the last 5 years, flooding the United States of America with fentanyl.
It's not just big cities and high traffic areas. Just recently, we took down a large fentanyl ring that was distributing in Suwannee County, Florida.
The thing, people at home should know is, fentanyl's finding its ways into so many other different drugs. Here's Suwannee County. Why Suwannee? It's because it's everywhere. Here, you just got people that, or man enough to go out there and bust these guys. But it is everywhere. So, I mean, here it would have killed the whole county multiple times over if it all ended up here. It seems very likely it was going to move on and be distributed further.
This is in the middle of nowhere. It's a rural county, a low population, not a place where you'd think there'd be a sophisticated network. And that's exactly where it was.
Flagler deputies say they hit the mother lode. They searched the Palm Coast home and found 915 grams of fentanyl. The sheriff says that's enough to kill every person in the county, with some left to spare.
We know it's coming from the cartels in Mexico. Make an effort at the border. It could be coming in from China. Let's make an effort to do that, and I think we are.
But we need Mexico and Canada to do much more than they've done, and they have to stop the fentanyl and drugs pouring into the USA. They're going to stop it. I have sent Congress a detailed funding request laying out exactly how we will eliminate these threats to protect our homeland.
We understand that fentanyl is a problem, and we're trying to address it as much as possible. I come from a state that our governor has initiated the SAFE program. Has given us tons of money to combat this, and we're doing the best we can.
DeSantis signed legislation today that puts together tougher penalties in place for people selling and distributing opioids, including fentanyl.
Sometimes the best we can is not enough.
Because these are the first arrests, and our state used the SAFE grant program. And what is SAFE? SAFE is short for State Assistance for Fentanyl Eradication. And this program provides money and for local law enforcement agencies and their investigators to root out fentanyl and drug traffickers. So, and this is exactly the type of case that Governor DeSantis had in mind when he signed that SAFE grant into legislation. So,
you just don't know if you got the one that's got 7 to 9 grains of salt size on your dose, and your buddy didn't. He's going to be fine, take a nice hit, and you're going to hit the mortuary. You're going to take that long black Cadillac drive to the graveyard.
911. I need ambulance. My son's not breathing.
What's the address? 10731?
Yes, hurry.
Is he blue?
He's white.
How old is he?
Oh, God, he's dead.
Ma'am, I need you to calm down. How old is he? Ma'am? Will you pick up on her? Star Police.
Yeah, you get the dirt nap because you were chasing a high.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very, very much for being with us today as we are excited to talk about the largest seizure of fentanyl in the history of the Sheriff's Office. Let me underscore that there's no light between any of us. We're shoulder to shoulder to protect the people of the United States from this evil, evil drug, fentanyl. I have been interested in law enforcement my entire life. As far back as I can remember, I wanted to be a deputy sheriff. I wanted to one day be the sheriff of Polk County, and I mean from like 4 or 5 years of age. So there's never a time in my life that I wanted to do anything other than that. I believe it's a God thing. I believe that this is my mission field and that it was preordained for me to work in a job where I could help those that needed help the most, where I could protect the innocent from the bullies, where I could put bad guys in jail. And I have been able to do that my entire adult life. I remember when we used to go after the cocaine kingpins that were flying plane loads of cocaine into this country. And we stopped people from flying drugs into this country. But I can tell you right now, I've been in the business long enough. With crack cocaine, it was very dangerous. It was very addictive. It could hook you immediately. With cocaine, it was dangerous. With methamphetamine, it's dangerous. It kills you long term if it doesn't cause you to have a vehicle crash and kill yourself or someone else instantly. So we see their life cut short by decades. And then along comes this fentanyl, this synthetic opioid. People aren't making it to the next breath, much less the next day or the next year, if they abuse fentanyl.
Turn your car off. Put the keys on the roof.
On the roof?
Yep. All right, stay put.
But fentanyl kills you right now. Right now.
194, can you start me a medic as well? He's OD.
And we've seen it thousands upon thousands of times in Florida. And I've been in law enforcement over 5 decades. And I have seen the drug issue get worse and worse and worse. I've seen the suicide issue get worse and worse and worse. I've seen the mental health issue get worse and worse and worse. And they're all tied together. But I've never seen anything that kills people instantly like fentanyl.
When the officers arrived, they found family members performing CPR on the unresponsive boys lying on a bedroom floor.
Hey, Lopez, bring Narcan here!
Authorities believe the teenagers ingested fentanyl or some type of opioid drug.
A young deputy sees someone their age, maybe that they even went to school with, that's there dead because they've abused drugs. Quite frankly, when I see these young men and women who are dead, they are the ages of my children or sometimes my grandchildren.
Hey, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Back up, back up, back up, back up. How long has she been down? How long has she been down? Okay, everybody back up. Come on, baby. Come on.
It worked to wake the child up, but she was then rushed to the hospital where authorities say she was stabilized.
We know it's a very dangerous drug to not only use and handle, but for law enforcement officers.
Call 6, serve me 1141 for my partner. You all right, dude?
We had a case recently that we worked with one of our partnering agencies. The subject that we're buying the drugs from, the UC, the undercover officer that was buying the drugs, actually, through the packaging, started feeling their fingers getting numb.
Prior to fentanyl being on the scene, if I, as a police officer, come in contact with you, go into your pockets or whatever, the highest was that if I stuck my hand in your pocket and you were a heroin or needle user, the needle would be in your pocket and I would get stuck and possibly be exposed to HIV. But if I picked up your packet of heroin, the risk of me now becoming a victim and overdosing by just handling it was very slim. That's not the case with fentanyl, where casual contact with the drug through skin could cause an overdose.
Sit down. Sit down.
You can touch it; it gets absorbed real easy. You could breathe in, and it could cause you to go into convulsions. We don't go on anything anymore without Narcan with us. The nature of the beast is we don't let the dog in. If we're suspected of fentanyl in the house, they don't let the dog in.
Put your head back. You get a warrant?
47. I think she's ODing. Narcan. Come on, Courtney. Hey, listen.
So it's dangerous for us. It's deadly for those that are using and abusing it. And we can track the overwhelming majority of this back to the open borders over the last 4 years. It's caused 250,000-ish plus people to die. And they die right now. They don't survive. This is not like it's a long-term killer. It's a killer that quick.
I just got really lightheaded. You did? Yeah. EMS. Have a seat. My hands are really shaky. It's all right. Testing drugs.
And what I like to point out is we are standing in the gap. There are a lot of people alive today because my deputies arrived with Narcan.
And now joining us is the sheriff of Seminole County, Sheriff Dennis Lima. And so, Sheriff, let's talk about that video that we just saw a second ago. At the end of it, they were saying, was it morphine? Was it heroin? Was it fentanyl? Was it? And you say this is something that your officers experience and see all the time. And that man who was in that truck was very fortunate that officers saw him passed out, because that saved his life.
Yeah, thank you so much, First Lady, for your advocacy and pulling us together to have this conversation, because this video may be a surprise to a lot of people that are in the room, but it's something that we live with every single day. In Seminole County alone, our first responders used Narcan to reverse the effects of an overdose more than 850 times in 1 year. And as you had mentioned, the #1 cause of death in this country for young people is fentanyl.
We've certainly seen fentanyl become a very dangerous threat, perhaps the greatest threat facing law enforcement today.
Let me see your hands. Hands up.
Flagler County sheriffs raided 17 Blasdell Corps early Tuesday morning. In this body camera video, Sheriff's Department deputies can be seen pulling suspects from the home and slapping cuffs on them. Inside, deputies found 916 grams of fentanyl. Deputies say that amount of drugs could kill 481,000 people.
Law enforcement officers stick their own necks out and put their own lives on the line when they're dealing with fentanyl cases and exposing themselves to such a toxic, highly concentrated and deadly product.
And anytime that there's a movement across the country to legalize Narcan so anybody can have it in case of a drug overdose, you know that there's a problem across the country. We allow or accept the abuse of drugs when we should turn on it as a society with a vengeance.
All right, if you get a street pill laced with fentanyl, there is a 60% chance it could kill you. It's leading to overdoses across the country. It's a tough battle for law enforcement. As far as Caroline Ellie found out, it's a battle the County Sheriff's Office is fighting twice as hard this year.
If there's people that wonder what a deadly dose of fentanyl is, this is it. 2 milligrams. 2 milligrams, and 116 people in Polk County alone last year died from just this small amount of fentanyl. There was 5,806 deaths in 2020, and we're on track this year to almost double what we had in 2020. This is dangerous. But the sad part about it is it's killing children and killing young adults, and we're seeing lives snuffed out much too young because of the abuse of drugs. Bottom line.
Cindy and Andrew Joquette would find their son Bryce dead right in front of their Stevenson Ranch home.
He was lifeless in his car.
The 22-year-old never made it to his front door after a night out with friends, the victim of a deadly drug overdose.
And to know he was so close to home. It's such a silent death. He was right here in the front yard, and maybe I could have saved him if I knew.
Okay, is he breathing? No. They're already on the way. They've already been dispatched.
Okay, thank you.
Has he taken anything?
We don't know. He has in the past.
Okay.
Today we see fentanyl, which is the worst we've seen, and before that it was opioids, and before that it was heroin and cocaine. But what we see today that is so scary is the target. Drugs are now targeting people from 8 years old to 80 years old. It's in gummy bears, it's in candy, it's in colorful packaging. It's targeting our kids, it's targeting our elderly, it's targeting everybody.
Yeah, I grew up in the panhandle of Florida, and a neighboring family friends, they had a daughter that was a few years younger than me, a good kid, good student, not somebody that's diving into serious drugs. She did at a party inhale what she thought was marijuana, did not realize that it was laced with fentanyl, and ultimately died.
Mike Atani, we live in Jacksonville, Florida, and I lost my 23-year-old son to fentanyl overdose in July 13th of 2018. Normal kid, grew up, a lot of friends. We always warned him growing up, hey, listen, stay away from that stuff. You don't know what people's putting in things nowadays. And sure enough, we got a call one day that we couldn't get a hold of him, and we ended up, his buddy went into his apartment and found him unresponsive, and it was too late.
I believe that most parents live in denial. It's not a problem. It happens to someone else. My child would never do that. Well, I want every parent to understand that if you took a 6-shot revolver and put 5 bullets in it and left 1 empty cylinder, your kid spins that, puts that gun to his head, there's a 5 chance out of 6 he or she will blow their brains out if they pull the trigger. That's what fentanyl is.
Rosebud 911, where's the emergency?
It's in the ambulance right now.
What's going on?
The 9-year-old is in the backyard. He's not responding to anything. He looks like he's been unresponsive for a long time. Please.
Whose child is it?
If your child pulls the trigger with fentanyl, there's a 5 out of 6 chance they're going to die.
The fentanyl crisis continues to hit close to home, and with thousands of students set to graduate soon, health experts are warning teens, don't celebrate with drugs. CBS 4's Ted Scouten spoke with a man who knows firsthand about the dangers of fentanyl.
He joins us now with that man's powerful message.
I was about 22, and I took some medication. It was a pill, and it was laced with fentanyl, and I overdosed.
Used to, you would think that you wouldn't want to kill your buyers. They don't care. It's all about the money. They don't care. They don't care who they kill.
A Central Florida school board is considering allowing schools to have Narcan on campus. Flagler County School District staff members created a proposal to add Narcan to its list of approved emergency medication.
Families that are shocked that, well, they just took 1 pill and now they're dead. So the reality of it is, it's the worst thing that we have ever seen in 5 decades of law enforcement.
Rarely does a day go by where you don't hear about a fentanyl overdose or a drug bust involving the opioid. Today, Marin County's Sheriff's Office announced they've seized more than 4 pounds of fentanyl in a recent bust.
But until this nation wakes up and sees that this is, in fact, a crisis and takes extreme overt measures to punish those selling drugs and holding those accountable that are using drugs, we're going to continue to see young people needlessly die.
A family's Florida vacation turned into a nightmare. While renting a house on Airbnb, their toddler found fentanyl and died. Fox 35 anchor Amy Caulfield explains the family thinks the drugs were left by a previous guest.
19-month-old Enora Lavanier was the youngest of 5 children on a family vacation in the summer of 2021 at the short-term rental home in Wellington.
They do this in barns. They do this in the houses. They do this in drug houses. Wherever they can do it and mix it. They do it in hotel rooms. And leftover byproduct of that, which we had here in Florida, killed a baby, an infant that was crawling around on the carpet because fentanyl was on the carpet. It was just enough to kill that child.
Where's he at? Where's baby? Please make him open his eyes.
This is the shocking video that we showed you back in June.
I know. Stay with me. I know.
The Jacksonville Sheriff's Officer, along with Jacksonville Fire and Rescue, saving the life of a 7-month-old child.
Do y'all have any narcotics in your apartment?
The JSO says came into contact with fentanyl.
Child tragedy in Overtown. A 10-year-old boy is being called the youngest victim of Florida's opioid crisis. He collapsed and died after a day at the community swimming pool.
Alton went to a nearby pool with friends.
We were jumping in, and then he swallowed water. Then he went home.
Sometime between that pool visit.
She was 18 when she passed.
I found her Christmas Eve afternoon. And I got up, made some coffee, went and chatted with Anna, Kate's sister, for a while, and realized that I hadn't seen Kate yet. So I knocked on the door and walked in. And she was sitting up, and sitting up on the bed, and her knees were crossed, and her whole body was just slumped forward. So I opened the door and I screamed her name, and she didn't move, and I screamed her name again, and I pushed her back. And she just kind of flopped over, and her face was all twisted. And I'm screaming and screaming and screaming. And I yelled for her sister to call 911. I guess whatever information I gave the operator was enough for her to know that Kate was gone. And I think I knew it too. When the grief subsides, I'm going to be so pissed. I'm going to be so pissed that this country can rally for COVID, but 300 people a day? Where are the billboards? Where are the PSAs on social media, on Snapchat, on Facebook, on Instagram, on, I don't even know, whatever kids are on these days? Why? Why? And I like to think that if I don't know, if Kate heard someone like me speak at her school, maybe she would have known the statistics. Maybe she would have known that, hey, I have a 50% chance of dying by buying a pill. Maybe it would have made a difference.
Today we see something different with fentanyl than we saw in the past with drugs like cocaine. You know, when it came to cocaine and its peak, you would have several thousand overdoses across the country. And this created an outrage where public policy officials would be going on campaigns and messaging to tell people about the dangers.
Smokable cocaine, otherwise known as crack. It is an explosively destructive and often lethal substance which is crushing its users. It is an uncontrolled fire.
With fentanyl, we see a few 100,000 overdoses.
You know, we were calling it a war on drugs, and, you know, it was the Nancy Reagan era, and we were really pushing. And then all of a sudden, the media said, oh, no, it's not a war on drugs, and we need to help these people, and they're not really criminals. And they took it off the radar. They took the attention off of it nationally. And I can tell you that is probably the only depressing part of my career. I look back, we fought really, really hard to stop drug abuse. And we've saved a lot of lives, make no mistake about it. We put a lot of real bad characters in jail for trafficking. But I've watched the abuse of drugs, the sale of drugs, suicides, and mental health issues remarkably increase instead of decreasing, because mainstream media and society said, well, it's too expensive to deal with it, and we're not winning. Well, we were holding it at bay. So at the end of the day, in this country, this is the greatest country in the world. Anything we make a priority, we can fix. And this country, this nation, refuses to do what it needs to do to make this a priority.
The things we've been seeing, it's very troubling. I mean, they will jam fentanyl into almost anything nowadays. So they'll actually do it and make it look like candy that's been dubbed a rainbow fentanyl. And then just 2 days in August, Customs and Border Patrol seized more than 250,000 multicolored fentanyl pills.
But sometimes it's like you're banging your head against a wall. We're combating that. We're taking steps to combat fentanyl, but now you've introduced something else, which, Jesus, now we have to combat that too.
New at 5, a new deadly synthetic opioid more powerful than fentanyl has been found here in Florida. The warning from officials, just one pill can kill.
Isotonitazine, or ISO for short, is a drug that can be absorbed, ingested, or inhaled. ISO is reportedly 20 to 100 times stronger than fentanyl.
There will be something worse. Now there's carfentanil, which dwarfs fentanyl. Then there's ISO. ISO is another killer, but it's not an opiate base, so you can't even use Narcan on it. It's evolving. Things are evolving, and we can't catch up. Once we figure out how to combat fentanyl, throw in something else. We'll combat that, throw in something else. I don't know what it's going to be 10 years from now. Something that I can't even imagine what it'll be like.
Tonight, as if the deadly rise of fentanyl could not get any more frightening, there's a new drug being mixed in. It's dubbed the zombie drug, and it is making the most dangerous street drug in the U.S. even deadlier. KTLA's Corrine Winter traveled from Skid Row all the way to the Mexican border to explore the drug's deadly effect here on the streets of L.A.
We want to warn you, some of the images you are about to see may be disturbing to watch.
Tuesday afternoon, downtown LA's Skid Row. We didn't have to look far to find this.
So the train dope, it comes out of the pores, I guess.
Among the crowd of homeless people packing these streets, strung out addicts like Josh Booker.
3 days of train dope did that to my finger.
Booker's finger ravaged by the flesh-eating so-called zombie drug xylazine that new research shows is spreading across Los Angeles.
They cut the fentanyl with xylazine, and it gives you these blisters that come up out of nowhere. It's like a parasite almost.
From fentanyl, we've seen new age drugs that have come in the form of vapes and chemicals, many chemically altered substances that you'll find in vape and smoke shops. And people don't realize these are unregulated products. A lot of these products that are coming from overseas, from China. We don't know what's in them, and they are wreaking havoc on our youth.
A widely available supplement that is sold in a lot of smoke and vape shops across Tampa Bay is now illegal as of tonight. Florida's Attorney General and Surgeon General announcing this emergency action, making 7-OH, which is a Schedule I drug, making that now, demanding stores get these products off their shelves out of the state immediately.
7-OH has been dubbed legal morphine by state officials, and it's been sold in 5,000 stores across the state of Florida. But that ends today with emergency action by state officials to classify 7-OH with drugs like heroin and meth.
Recently, we prohibited in the AG's office through emergency rule a product called 7-OH. This is a highly concentrated chemical substance that's extracted from kratom, which is a plant that comes from Southeast Asia, and it is 13 times more potent than morphine. This product was available in convenience stores, gas stations, and smoke shops. It was very accessible to kids on shelves right near candy and refreshments. This is unacceptable. Vapes, they can be used throughout the day. Kids have them in their pockets. Unlike cigarettes, they can inhale in class, in the restroom, killing brain cells. And I worry that we're not going to be able to defeat our global adversaries. We're not going to be able to defeat China if our kids are drugged up every day on these products.
We're also going to build off what we've done on fentanyl. We've increased mandatory minimums for both fentanyl and fentanyl analogs, and we're going to take action against this because this is really targeting our youngest.
Yeah, well, we'll change the laws because that's what we do. That's how we fight this. We're going to change the laws. We're going to take it off the market. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. But then they'll develop something else. change a molecular structure of some drug and make it something else. You want to call it cat and mouse? You know, I call it like the life. We just have to keep on top of whatever the trend is, and keep up on top of what the emerging trends are. Yeah, the trend now is fentanyl.
And quite frankly, we can look across this country as a society and as national leaders and say, you've not taken any interest in protecting the people of the United States. Now, I want to give you a positive note. Governor DeSantis in the state of Florida created a SAFE program. So now we have great amounts of money where we can go undercover and talk big time drugs. We partner with FDLE. Between FDLE, our agency, and many others across the state, we have saved thousands of lives. And it all started with the leadership of Governor DeSantis and our Florida legislature.
The way Florida's been working, it's not just the enforcement of it. It is, how do you help families educate their family members about it? Narcan is available. You can go to a pharmacy and get it now. The Narcan will save your life. It's been education, enforcement, it's been everything. It's not one person is immune from it. We all have family members. We have friends. We have people that are affected by it all the time.
We've devoted hundreds of millions of dollars to educating people on dangerous drugs like fentanyl, to treating fentanyl, to combating fentanyl. That must continue here and across the country. We've heightened penalties for people that sell fentanyl that ultimately engages in the death of an individual. Somebody that is caught in a situation like that is going to go to jail potentially for the rest of their life. I think this is an important step that needs to happen across the country to disincentivize people from engaging in fentanyl distribution. They need to know if you get caught, you are going to go away for a long time.
We have, as a society, have got to decide that we're going to lock up legions of people until we get their attention. We've also got to make sure that we arrest those that are using drugs, but not just arrest them, not just incarcerate them, but put them in facilities where they can receive help to break this addiction.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I'm an 18-year recovered opioid addict. Ended up on a 5-year addiction where I couldn't go a 4-hour window without anywhere between 100 to 120 milligrams of oxy or hydrocodones. The point is, I ended up overdosing 7 times. And folks, this is now 18 years sober. This is back when we didn't have to worry about fentanyl being laced in black market painkillers. And the fentanyl that is coming across our border, that's not an exaggeration. That's not hyperbole. That's not political. It's fact. If I was using my painkillers the way I was 18, 20 years ago with my addiction, I'd be dead 35 times over. And again, people in my family were able to help pick me up when I was down and I reached out for help. Those you watching, if you're struggling right now, there's no shame in getting help. You could turn your life completely around. I'm one of millions that have been able to be blessed to get their life back.
I would say this. I don't think we're ever going to stop people's curiosity about experimenting with drugs. And they make their own decisions. There's no way that anyone sitting in this seat can tell people don't do that and think that that's going to be heard wholesale. What I say, though, is this. You don't know what you're getting, and you may not get a second chance to make that mistake.
I mean, you need to find somebody to help you through this. You can't, it's very difficult to do it by yourself. People need help. They don't need people looking at them with condescending looks. No, they need, look, I have a problem. Admit you have a problem, and then we can help you.
It does seem like there are positive glimpses of hope. We had over 100,000 national, deaths from overdose just a couple of years ago, and that number appears to have come down to about 80,000. In Florida, I know we've seen a recent drop in total overdose deaths. So there's positivity here. That said, there's still far too many people dying. Thousands of people here in Florida, tens of thousands at the national level, and it further highlights how important the work is that you all do. So thank you. I know you all are on the front lines. You even at times don't know if you yourself might get exposed to the dangers of some of these hazards, but you do it anyway, and the country thanks you for it.
7 to 9 grains of salt, lay them out there, and that's what it will kill you. So if it's not mixed right or correctly, which majority of it's not, it's just thrown together, and it's going to kill you. That's how dangerous this is, and it affects everybody. The Attorney General said with me almost 2 years ago, she saw it coming. She said, this is a weapons of mass destruction. When you're talking about what we see there will kill everybody in the state of Florida, that can kind of tell you how bad it is.
It's a step in the right direction. I think we're on the path to combating it. We're now not only are we combating it from the police aspect of it, but the courts are also doing it, and the legislation is changing to understand the cause of the problem and how to punish these people even more. So I think, are we addressing it properly? Yes, we are. Do we have a ways to go? Absolutely. We're not there yet. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. But it's a constant struggle. Could we do more? Absolutely, we could do more. I like to think we're doing the best we can with what we have to work with. But could we do more? Yes. We have the desires there, the passions there, the motivations there, but sometimes we're stymied because we just can't go anymore. We just don't have the funding to make the buys we want to do, to do what we want to do. And that's not our fault. And it's a bigger picture here, But you asked me what the state of Miami is. Constant battle,
What's the difference today than when we worked back in the 80s? And technology is really the big thing. Technology and the number of people that you have working at FDLE. The men and women that really started this agency in the 70s, you have to give them a lot of credit because they did it with very little help. And they made an impact. They made an impact on the city, they made an impact on the state, and they made an impact for FDLE, where FDLE was able to grow. And look where we are today.
Back in those days, in those 80s and 90s, Beckerman will tell you that, okay? When people were done at work, we go right to the bar. The camaraderie back then was very, very, very close.
They were your family.
Always top of the line people, always top of the line character people. There was no better agency. I'm saying no better agency at the time that I could even think of.
It was really a tight group of people, okay? We help each other, but we work together well. And it really worked out super. And it was great, but FDLE was really, really good at that. It was just like, you couldn't have done any better than that.
It was outstanding. I was never unhappy there. I never dreaded going to work.
It's interesting to think of when you are enjoying your job so much and you wonder if it's going to be the best job of your career, even if you have other great jobs. That kind of describes this task force. I had a great, great career, but I will always look mostly fondly back at the time working with those inside that task force.
It was a lot of fun for several reasons. The folks that we worked with enjoyed their job and did it well, but more importantly, everyone always looked out for the other person. Just a great group of people, just like now. I mean, we've been very fortunate that we recruit and we hire good people. We retain good people that are very dedicated to the job. So
it was all a pretty tight-knit group. A lot of it because mandatory, we spend a lot of time together. Work-play ratio. Mostly work. When I had a little bit of time, I played hard. God knows how many hours of unpaid overtime I worked, and I don't regret a second of it. It actually was an advantage because money's not everything.
used to have an annual party at his home. I don't know if he told you about it. Where he brought in all the cops, all the prosecutors, the media. I mean, it was a free-for-all.
Tried very hard to involve people socially. But you were tight. It was a tight group.
So I can sit here and say I have done this and I have done that, but to me, my accomplishments and what I have done for others, for my family, came to FDLE. I have done well here, thank God. I've worked with great people, and I'm still working. I feel like I'm not done yet. I still have a lot of energy. My back is giving up on me. As I've gotten older, it kind of hurts a little more if I walk. But, you know, emotionally, mentally, I still have, God willing, a lot more left.
You know, I personally think that there should be a whole lot more prevention out there. And there is some. Almost in any drug crime and drug problem, prevention is a vital part. Like teaching people this stuff will kill you, you know. And there's some of that going on, but I think there should be far, far more of that.
So I think for us, the knowledge that these people bring is what makes our investigations successful, because without that knowledge, you're basically starting from scratch again.
I hope that the funding continues. I hope more agencies get on board and contribute another body or bodies to combat this. But the concept is a great concept. That's one of the reasons I'm still here.
And now we have FDLE with the very first genetic genealogy unit in any law enforcement department. And so we've really advanced with technology, especially in DNA. But I think, having said that, and that brings us to such a great place in solving cases, but I really think that we need to take a step back a little bit and go back to some of the old ways. Technology isn't going to solve every case. And I think if we can marry some of the old lessons with some of the new technology and forensics, I mean, there's no stopping us.